the devils of the world will celebrate. And everybody they have managed to brainwash. But this is not over. Trump is going to pay a price paid by no American president at all time, paid by no Zionist of all time, paid by no criminal of all time. Trump is going to see, because revenge is coming, and revenge is coming soon, and revenge is coming after Trump, after everybody who facilitated this assassination. He will pay the ultimate price. And it's not only by the millions of Iranians, it's not only by the millions in resistance countries, it's also by those who have newly joined the resistance.
Tonight, late night update, weekend edition. It's war, it's official. Say it ain't so. It's no longer just a speculation, a myth, some kind of estimate of what would or what could happen. It's here. World War III is not even upon us. It's right now, it's current. How, who, what, where, why? Who's going to pay for this? Because it ain't going to be me. Late night update. Well, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Real Deal Media's Late Night Update. I am your late night host here for this weekend edition, Dean Ryan. Last minute, but that's the way war is right now. As it is busy where I am, as you can hear in the background, you can hear the soaring jets as the Navy and the aircraft are currently on their way to the Middle East. Have yet to sleep a wink. Just around midnight last night, it was a just provocation of all provocations that we got word that Israel bombed Iran, which was then just quickly corrected by Fox. Israel and U.S. Isn't that something? Well, I just spilt holy water because I feel the demons are around me, and they're around this country right now. In the United States, this is code red. If I've ever been involved in anything of a world war-like nature, well, I could say 2020 was certainly that. I can make the case it was then, but here we are now. We're going to get into all the latest updates. So much is to accumulate coming in last minute. I was up extremely late talking to our very own Forsetti over there in Eastern Europe, over there in the EU, giving me the take on it. We spoke at the same time. I was speaking to James Martinez live, who was live in India on the show, but also afterwards, because everything we were saying about what's happening in India with Israel, well, it's coming true. Even people like Tucker Carlson are having to pick up on that. And we are so far above, just above the mainstream, above the alternative stream. That's how far above target we are right now. And we have a choice to make. Are we going to continue to chase the dangling carrot? Are we going to continue to play the folklore games of the cryptic nature? Or are we going to come back down to earth and get down to reality and take this country back? Because right now is where we stand. And people who are watching around the world, let's make it very clear. The United States is an occupied country. We are an occupied country by a rogue nation who is willing to use nukes, who has the capability, who has them ready to go, and who has a psychotic, monomaniacal at this point government running the entire show for that little country and for our country. And now they want the entire Middle East and even Latin America. Okay, so we're going to get to a lot of things here tonight. All these things that I could put together. It's been a crazy day. I couldn't believe it was real, but it is. And rather than saying, I told you so, I didn't tell you enough, it doesn't matter because we're all in this together. We have to find solutions now because we have an entire nation, an entire region of this world now that hates us because we have a guy who's probably dead, a guy who is definitely blackmailed, a guy who has been 7 different variations of like prosthetic mask, if you will. Yeah, we are being ran by just an unknown specimen of people, but specifically from a certain country. Okay, let's get to. We have a lot going on right now. So we had the strikes happen late last night. A lot of people are saying that it was going to happen during Purim over there this coming Monday and Tuesday. We thought something was awry because right after the State of Union, where Trump didn't even mention Israel once, I rewatched it in like 4.0 speed, not one time. But Bibi wasn't happy. Therefore, J.D. Vance got the call, if you remember, and he put this little statement out. It was the just most pathetic thing I've ever seen. So we go on the timeline here. This is J.D. Vance. Just so we're clear on this. The very next day after the State of the Union, something happened. Something changed. Who recalls?
The principle is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they try to rebuild a nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us. And in fact, we've seen evidence that they have tried to do exactly that. So the president sending those negotiators to try to address that problem, as the president has said repeatedly, he wants to address that problem diplomatically, but of course the president has other options as well. On what we need to see from
Well, we think they might be, getting their nuclear program back up again. Although we told you we obliterated it. Well, we might not have. As of 5 minutes ago, we told we might not have. Give me a break. My God, did he not look like he was under duress? I mean, his beard was getting wider by the second. Okay, so there's that. Now, here's what we have. The strikes happened late last night. It was unprecedented. I think the Iranians expected it because, their negotiators were killed last time. They wanted peace negotiations, diplomacy. But no, Israel doesn't want that. They want to control the Middle East fully, putting their puppet regime in, letting people think they're free, but really they control it. That's how this works here. So because of that, now we have Iran, who made retaliatory strikes just earlier. I should say immediately following the unprecedented attack on their sovereign nation. Because I'm begging people, tell me and show me where Iran was a threat to modern and just everyday average Americans. Please send me the link to that. I'd like to see it. Oh, you can't find it. Okay, well, you know what? I'll tell you who the real threat is. Yeah, they're in Washington, D.C. right now as we speak. So Iran launched retaliatory missile strikes across the Gulf, as you might have heard. After the U.S.-Israel operation, bases were targeted. Yeah, Iran launched missile strikes on Israel and U.S. military bases across the Gulf following a joint U.S.-Israeli operation against them. And let me tell you, Tel Aviv right now, they're getting punished. And you're not going to see that anywhere on Fox News. In fact, Fox News can go straight to hell. I stopped. If you're still watching Fox News, they are the enemy. They've been the biggest cheerleaders for war since the inception of their entire history and existence. Now, also Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates, UAE, all hosting U.S. bases. Dubai, ran by Zionists, reported intercepting Iranian missiles with explosions heard over there in Abu Dhabi and Dubai itself. In fact, I believe we have some footage of this. Here's some of the damages that have now occurred in the past 24 hours.
Put your hands up.
Definitely not it. We'll come back to that one. Here it is. Okay, nothing's working. I can't even see anything. All right. This is the damage in. Okay, now we know. This is Dubai. This is they have the tallest building. This is where all the money laundering happens. This is where all kind of dirty trafficking takes place. Here it is.
Hímale.
Yeah, there you have it. So that is Dubai. Here is Tel Aviv now in Israel, which I don't put it past the Israelis to ever so slightly open their Iron Dome so they can, kind of a self-inflicted wound, just like they did to themselves on October 7th, so they can decry the victim to then get America involved once again. I mean, this is beyond gaslighting. I don't even know what it's called anymore. Here it is. This is what's happening. They're getting damaged, but they expected that because they got the Americans on a short leash, don't they?
חולצו כל הלכודים?
אנחנו בסריקות. עדיין בסריקות.
So now the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, they've now said that the Ministry of Defense said the country had been subjected to blatant attacks by the Iranian ballistic missiles, but their air defenses had intercepted a number of the projectiles. Well, clearly that's not the case. Clearly that's not the case in Israel. Now, it's also worth noting that the U.S. embassies across the region issued urgent instructions for American personnel and citizens to shelter in place until further notice. Yeah, shelter in place until further notice. Then you have Trump coming out saying that, there's going to be a loss of life. That's what happens in war. We might lose some soldiers. We might lose some Navy men. I mean, this is incredible. This is a war of choice and aggression. Imagine majority of the people that voted for this guy to come back and has supported him and have really just invested emotionally, financially into everything Trump. And this is what you get. And then when it's too big and too much to believe, then there's some just total insider that says, well, actually what it's all about is it's trying to find the election auditor that is somewhere hiding in a desert underneath the Iranian Guard. That's what it's all about. And Nessera, Jessera, and, all these other just gobbledygooks that we sold you on. That's what's incredible. And then when you try to hold the line and show the same integrity in scrutiny and analyzation for this administration as the last one, then you get chastised because that's their team. That's their investment. Now, here's another one here. We told you about the Joint Chief of Staffs, the top general in the entire military in the Trump administration. Okay, we told you about this gentleman right here. Yes, General. Well, that's not it. This is a last minute. Dan Kane. That's another general. I'm gonna get to all the generals that had just been ushered out. Dan Kane said, just to reiterate, he said to Trump in the Oval Office in front of Marco Rubio, in front of J.D. Vance and others, that Mr. President, we cannot afford to go to war with Iran. We can't do it. We're going to risk too many lives. And for two reasons. One, we don't have enough munitions because we gave it all away to the damn Israelis. Two, well, actually, 1 and 2, 1A, 1B. We gave it to Israel and Ukraine. And then 2, we'd have no allies that are going to go stand next to us in a war. Now, I said Starmer for the UK was going to do it. He's now said they're going to have little defense jets patrolling the skies, touching the wall and coming back. So that's nothing. I mean, but he's trying to put some skin in the game so he can avoid any kind of special elections to get him out of office because he's facing the snake pit. Now, here's some other notables here. Okay, so this is what happened in the lead up to this war. Check this out. Well, look at that. There you have it. The chairman of the U.S. Joint Chief of Staff now. Yeah, that's right. You can't make this up. Yeah, he was let go. If you noticed, he was totally let go and told not to come back. If you can even read that. Boy, I wish these things were bigger, but he's just another example of somebody who was told to go, another chief of staff in the Trump administration, a guy who opposed the war because he said, why are we going to risk the lives of our own young men and women? And don't forget that there was an uptick in military signups in the wake of the Trump election because all these young kids were so excited that they could be in the Navy and they could, experience travel, go to college under a peacetime president. Now they got suckered. Now they're protesting. Now it's too late. Now, just the other night, we showed that men over there on the Gerald Ford are putting all their undershirts into the toilets and sewage system to flood the boat because they want to go home. This is not our war. Here's another one here. This guy got let go. You might have heard about this one. Yes, this is a famous one. U.S. official officially removed Colonel Nathan McCormick from his position on the Joint Chiefs of Staff after he called Israel a death cult and said the U.S. was, quote, acting as a proxy for Israel. I'd say that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. Yeah, I no argument here. And then finally, what we told you, Israel and India have now made a big union, a big agreement, and a big partnership together. You know why? Because Israel is the leech. And when they're done with the person who's hosting them and they're done sucking the blood out, they spit them out. And guess what? That's us. We're now the $2 whore they're going to be done with, and they want to weaken us so we don't rise up to power again. And they have a new host called India that has a plethora of land and a plethora of population. They're willing to just, use expendables. And guess who picked up on that after we shared that with you? Well, Tucker Carlson did. Thank you, Tucker. Yeah, Tucker Carlson dropped some massive truth bombs. They're saying, revealing that Israel is planning to abandon the United States for India and actually wants to weaken America by dragging it into a devastating war so that Israel can expand its own borders unchallenged because they know Americans are pissed off at them. They know that's why they put all these anti-Semitic bullshit laws. They know that the sleeping giant is no longer sleepy. He's pissed off, he's hungry, and he wants revenge. You see? Let me continue here. So that's what's happening now in the retaliatory segments there. And you see all these, all of these admirals let go, the colonels, the Joint Chiefs of Staffs. It's unbelievable how bad this is. This is so bad, everybody. I mean, you cannot sell this to me how this is good, how this is going to turn around. Trump's name is just mud. If he's even alive, if that's even a real person, it's mud. It's dirt. The family name, I would change my name now. So as this is happening now, Trump also now announced the death of, you heard it, the supreme leader in a joint U.S.-Israel strike. And that wasn't good enough. He was now also urging the Iranians to rise up against and to overthrow their own government over there in Iran. And I was thinking to myself, God, I wish somebody would encourage us to do that. That'd be so sweet. It would be such a mutual bliss. Yo, that's right. The U.S.-Israel strikes killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, a man who explained that when we were saying death to America, we weren't saying death to the Americans. We were saying death to the Zionists and the officials and the leaders of that country that are trying to kill us and take over our sovereign nation. That's what the supreme leader said yesterday and has been saying for quite some time. But gee, the Western media just can't seem to pick that up, can they? That Sinclair broadcasting station just can't seem to get it together. So this is happening. And now, along with the IRGC officials over there in a targeted operation that's so successful, Trump framed this as Iran's, quote, greatest chance for regime change, urging Iranians to overthrow the Islamic Republic. Now, Iran denied Khamenei's death initially, but launched missiles and drone strikes against Israel instead and U.S. bases in response. The attack during Ramadan killed over 200 and wounded 700, escalating fears of a wider regional war. Oh, this is, they got the hornet's nest. They didn't just hit it with a bat. They stepped in it barefoot, but they used our feet to do it. That's the beauty of it. Now, the Iranian state media has, they've confirmed the death. So it really did happen. Khamenei's death leaves Iran without a clear successor, fueling instability, existing economic protests. Eyewitness reported scattered celebrations in Tehran, while hardliners may push for further escalation. Yeah, they said they were killing all those, Trump said, all those protesters, thousands and thousands of them, the protesters with Gatling guns, just bazookas, grenades. If I didn't know any better, I would think it was the Mossad and the CIA, but no, those are protesters. Just like Antifa, they're just peaceful protesters. You see how this is mirrored now? When they said this against Trump in 2020, and they wanted to remove him if he didn't step down, it was going to be a hostile takeover. Now here we are doing it again, if it's even him. Now, experts warn that Iran may retaliate rather than surrender as Trump threatens further military action. Yes, because he's the king of the world, right? The region braces for potential regime collapse, prolonged conflict, or descent into a broader war. Well, there you have it. I mean, I guess a country is a threat to us just as long as Benjamin Netanyahu says it is, and then he calls Trump on, his little pager speed dial. Yeah, so he's killed. Now, what if a foreign nation did that to us with our American president? How would we feel? What if Mexico did that? Would we be chanting death to Mexico? This is so asinine. And the just, it's nonstop since the beginning of this year. Okay, so that's happening. Now, you heard this happened on Ramadan. Not a lot of people were in the street. A lot of people said that they thought it was going to happen on Purim, the Israeli whatever holiday this coming Monday, where you just cleanse all the demons and all the mess in your life and you start anew. Well, they're explaining, the Israeli ambassador to the UN. Listen to his explanation of how they're justified for this escalation of an aggressive war that they're making us fight. These just incredible demons.
The story of Purim happened more than 2,500 years ago, in the same place. In ancient Persia, an evil minister by the name of Haman sought to wipe out the Jewish people. And it began with words, with chants. It became a decree. It could have become a genocide. But Queen Esther refused to remain silent. She stepped forward. She spoke up. She acted before it was too late. That is the lesson we learned. It is not only an ancient lesson, it is a modern one. Last week, I stood at the gates of Auschwitz with dozens of UN ambassadors. We stood in a place that shows what happens when radicalism and extremism grows and no one stops it in time. Before the Holocaust, some leaders, serious leaders, believed that they could calm aggression with concessions. They were completely wrong. Giving in did not stop evil. It strengthened it. Winston Churchill understood what Queen Esther understood long before him. When destruction is declared and weapons are being prepared and assembled, leaders must act. Not later, now. Today, President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu understand that same lesson.
He can't sell a war, can he? He can't even find just a plausible reason why this happened. Can't seem to figure it out. Now, how is this going to affect things politically? What are the so-called MAGA base, if there's even still one around? How are they feeling about this? Well, that's a good question. That's a good question, as many now people, especially in the political world, are now saying that MAGA is melting faster than the ice caps. Let me tell you about this. This is quite fascinating. Well, now they're saying that the MAGA meltdown over the Iran war that no one voted for. Isn't that the case? Wasn't the whole reason for voting for Trump, the people who did, it was because Biden was taking us to a world war scenario, or the people that played Biden, with Ukraine, starting wars. I mean, on and on and on and on. And everybody thought, or maybe people were slightly hopeful that it was going to be different. Oh, no, it's even worse. Our tax dollars are paying for the Palantir weaponries and the missiles that are doing the ethnic cleansing just for starters. Now we're having to pay for this. This is just unbelievable. Well, the Trump is now facing a fury of MAGA backlash like he's never faced before from his own base, after embarking on the unauthorized strike in Iran. And that's a very key statement there, unauthorized. It's those wars on a whim, just because I feel like it, just because I need a distraction because of all the rape stories I'm trying to cover up for. And after being urged from parts of his own base not to enter another foreign war. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, MTG. I mean, everybody. Not even just a fraction of the base. I would say the entire. Well, he announced Saturday morning that he had launched the major attack on Iran, as we all know, and vowed to eliminate the country's nuclear program. Well, what the hell was last year? He said he obliterated it. So now he has to eliminate. So what does that mean? Then what was last year versus what is now? Clearly, none of that is real. These are all lies, and this is all about clearing the decks for the greater Israeli project. Man, we are so usurped. It's sickening. I can't even sleep thinking about this. Now, in addition to that, nobody wants this war, said Trump-aligned self-proclaimed, people like Andrew Tate. Yes. These are some of the Trump Inc. people. Congresswoman Anna Paulina wrote, quote, "Hold our country in prayer right now. Hold our service members and their families in prayer right now. Hold the innocent people in Iran in prayer right now." Ain't that the truth? The beautiful Persian people of Iran that are just like all of us. They go to the mall. I showed you some of that footage that the CIA doesn't want you seeing. They want you to think that these are Stone Age people, doing blood sacrifices. Oh, wait, that's Israel. Never mind. So here's another one. Milo Yiannopoulos said, "Oh, how disgusting. F you, Mr. President." Yeah, I echo that one. Everybody across the board, I'm telling you. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, quote, "I supported the man who called out the truth about the WMDs in Iraq." Yes, he did. And declared no more foreign wars. Now, for some unknown reason, wink, wink, Trump has joined the neocons and will soon go to war against Iran with the same BS excuses. I could not agree more. This is deja vu, everybody. This is deja vu. And I know a lot of people that have sons and daughters in the armed forces, specifically the Navy. And let me tell you, these parents are scared straight. Nobody in their wildest dreams thought this was even a possibility as in 2024 and last year until it became a reality. They're terrified. So this is a very hard pill of just reality to digest for a lot of people here tonight. Okay, so the MAGA base is now on fire. No doubt about that. Now, is Trump worried about this? Is he scratching his head? Is he, is he trying to get consultants? What is he doing? No, he's not. He's now cheering, dancing in the wake of the death of Iranian leader, and also went as far as saying the strikes will continue. And now he's even eyeing Cuba, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. Well, that's absolutely correct. Over there in Palm Beach, the new Tel Aviv, in the wake of all of this, now Trump has said we're aimed at destroying Iranians' missiles and annihilating its navy, and follow repeated U.S.-Israeli warnings that they would strike Iran again if pressed ahead with its nuclear ballistic missile programs. So this is like completely surrender, give up the entire sovereignty of your country to Israel, or we're going to continue. This is mafia. This is mob tactics. Trump, who's monitoring the operation from his Mar-a-Lago oceanfront resort over there in Florida, has said how gleefully happy he is that he killed another leader of another country. He said the following, I should say a senior Israeli official earlier beforehand told that Khamenei's body had been found, and Trump concurred on Truth Social. This is what Trump said, quote, "This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans. And we should be grateful, shouldn't we? And for those people from many countries throughout the world that have been killed and mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs," Trump wrote. Well, the irony of that statement is just, it's poison. It's poisoning. So not only that, to rub it in your face a little bit more, he celebrated in Mar-a-Lago in the wake of the death of a supreme leader. And this is what took place. This is unbelievable.
Put your hands down.
I'm gonna push you. You're gonna push both down.
Yeah. Just little celebratory killing dance. With the provisions of the Talmud saying, yes, you can do it. Please. Belly dance too. So this is not a one and done, everybody. This is a regional thing. If you think that the people, the Muslim nation are going to sit down and take this, no, they're more united now than ever before. So much so that the United States Navy cannot dock our ships anywhere near a lot of these, the Persian Gulfs, the Arab nations, anything that's Muslim at this point. In fact, here's them now chanting over there in Tehran, "Death to America," and we have Donald Trump, the cuckold of Mar-a-Lago, to thank for it, in Bibi Netanyahu, Satan reincarnated. Yeah. Don't you feel better about yourself now? So if that wasn't enough for you, there's certainly a few more things here. So he's cheering, he's dancing. The Trump puppet is also now encouraging people to overthrow the Iranian government. That's unbelievable. Now, what is Congress doing? Because in our Constitution, you remember that thing? which was based off the Magna Carta. Remember that thing, everybody who's in the Commonwealth? Well, where's Congress in this entire equation? Congress is the only sanctioned body of government legally that can declare war. You can't have a cult of personality come into the executive branch, one person start a war. That's why they've always called them, oh, well, it's a conflict, not a war. Well, where's Congress in this whole thing? Well, they're scrambling because this happened in the middle of the night. It was a sucker punch because that's how the Israelis play. They're dirty. It's an evil country. Have you figured that out yet? Well, Congress now is rushing to get in the know as critics denounce Iran strikes. Because, well, they have to, because nobody knows why in the world this is happening except for the nuclear missile. We don't even know anymore. Listen to this now. So, yeah, Congress is scrambling to learn more about Donald Trump's overnight strike on Iran and his long-term strategy of the Middle East, which the strategy in the Middle East is to find a strategy to have for the Middle East. That's our strategy. As votes to restrain further military action loom next week. Yeah, this is treason. It is treason. Let's call it what it is. Let's put our emotions aside and, no judgment here. Well, Trump administration officials will brief staff on key congressional committees Sunday, according to two people granted anonymity to disclose the plans now, and also with the House Intelligence. Armed Services and Foreign Affairs panels expected to take part. Staff on Senate Foreign Relations Intelligence committees will also be briefed this coming weekend, according to congressional aides, which means absolutely nothing. Well, efforts are now underway to set up a lawmaker briefings next week with the key congressional leaders to hear from administration officials as soon as Monday. Yeah, they want to know why this is happening. And it'd be so you want to see tap dancing like Pam Bondi style? Watch this on Monday. Now, Representative Mr. Gregory Meeks over there in New York, the top foreign affairs Democrat, told fellow panel members on a private call that administration officials will brief all House lawmakers Wednesday, according to People. Again, that means nothing. So everybody's stunned by this. It makes absolutely no sense. Even the top general is stunned. And if they're too stunned, they get fired. They get relieved. And that's why Tulsi Gabbard is totally she has a gag order on her. She's bawling gag somewhere at the Upper East Side ends of the White House. We don't even know where she is. Talk about hypocrisy. So what are they going to do now? What about Thomas Massie, Representative Thomas Massie over there of Kentucky? Well, who is a co-leading efforts over there in the House to force a war powers vote, characterized the strikes on social media as, quote, acts of war unauthorized by Congress. Yeah, I'd say so. And that's why he wants, let me tell you how this will just wind up. It's all fun and, song and dance here. They want to continue. They're using the Netanyahu strategy to keep a perpetual war, keep it in the swing of things. So there's no midterm elections. So there's no 2028 elections, because a wartime president can keep it going. And keep it going long enough to stay out of prosecution, because there is so many crimes here. It was bad when Bush did it. This was bad when Obama did it with Syria. It was bad when Biden was doing this with Ukraine and blowing up the Nord Stream pipelines. And it's bad now. There's no difference. We have one unified party, and it ain't us. It's them versus us. That's how that is. Now, let me close on this to give you a little preview of what's to come down the pipeway here. And then we'll take a quick break and really leave you with a bizarre story of clones that I'm going to really hammer down on. But before we go to break here, yeah, so now I told you about Cuba, Latin America. Notice we don't hear about what's going on in the Mexico and the Jalisco cartel. The New Age, whatever they're called. Well, that's right. Israel wants to take over Latin America. They're They're now doing it. They're going for gusto because they know that Gen Z and the generation Alpha, the one after them, there's no love for Israel. They know the polls. That's why Israel's behind the pandemic. They saw all the analytics of what people were watching, and just it didn't take much for them to know that their days were numbered, the Zionist days, and the jig was up. That's how this happened. And they said, well, let's pin China as the perpetrators of it. Oh, good idea. Yeah, Bill Gates and Epstein. Now, Cuba is now facing what they're now calling 0 hour, as Trump and little Marco Rubio put the squeeze on the regime of Cuba. And they call it a friendly takeover. How friendly is it? Let's find out, because I'm just seeing butterflies and roses everywhere. Well, Cuba's communist government now is facing a breaking point in a battle for survival under the pressure from Emperor Trump, whose energy quarantine against the country is aimed at collapsing the regime. The consequences are hitting the population of 10 million people very hard, with the United States fuel blockade exacerbating decades-long economic crises, disrupting access to water and worsening food and medicine shortages. Oh, so we're now going to be inducing a famine on the people of Cuba. Did you see that? No food, no water, no medicine unless they overthrow their government or their government quits or whatever the case. So this is IDF tactics 101. That should tell you everything you need to know who's in control here. Now, listen to this now. They're saying there's a number of epidemics rippling through the population right now. Repression is increasing as the regime feels cornered, and they're not signaling any willingness to negotiate with the United States. And who would want to? Our word is good as, pebbles, nothing. And the director of the Cuban Research Institute, he's not liking it either. He said, quote, "These people are really, really bad guys, and they have shown the capacity to survive difficult crises. I don't think they can survive this one." Okay, that's from Trump. That's what he's saying about Cubans. Yeah, he's saying that about Cubans. But really, you could flip that around and say that about him. That's how... it's non-gendered on that one. So Trump also suggested that the U.S. could achieve the, quote, friendly takeover of Cuba, perhaps mirroring America's approach to Venezuela, where the military took out its leaders but kept the regime largely in place while demanding greater economic cooperation. Well, let's review how that happened. You had 20 guys that were just gliding into Venezuela on some unknown aircraft with a bunch of drones everywhere. That were firing 300 rounds per minute, unheard of, and also an unknown weapon of sorts that was used on the Venezuela Maduro regime that caused them to start bleeding and vomiting out of their eyeballs and mouth like they've never seen it before. And it was only 20 Americans that caused it. And then it was over. I mean, that's like Angel of Death style right there. So the 0 hour is approaching. So they're saying if we don't see a tanker come into Havana sometime by mid-March, that's what we call the 0 hour. In other words, that's it. There's no inventory. There's no strategic reserves. That's it. They're out of business. So they're going to take the oil of Cuba as well. 22,000 barrels a day. That's what they plan on taking from Cuba. And Secretary Marco Rubio is heavily handed in these negotiations. He is a terrorist in his own right. The Marco Rubio is taking the lead on the administration strategy. Yeah, because Trump doesn't have time for this. Make Jared do it, or make that Dumbo flopped Marco Rubio do it. Reportedly holding talks with the grandson of Raul Castro, or AKA, Justin Trudeau Castro, or his brother who's there secretly. So that's it right there. I mean, so we're going to have a friendly takeover of Cuba. Well, just give a round of cigars to everybody. We are just the liberators of the world, aren't we? It's just all for Israel. Anyways, I'm going to take this quick break and do some jumping jacks. But when we get back, I want to address the cloning that seems to be now coming to the forefront in a lot of people's minds from the obvious, but some of the not so obvious before we just get out of here and try to make sense of it all. You're watching Late Night Update right here on Real Deal Media. This is a special occasion here for the weekend edition, as we are officially it's war, as the title says. So we'll be right back after this quick message. Don't go anywhere.
I have a message for the American people. Last December, I encouraged you to give this new administration a chance. Time is up. Our government is compromised. Tyrants get promoted and patriots get punished. I am very concerned that we are on the brink of losing our constitutional republic to tyranny. We came extremely close during COVID, and it seems to me like everyone has already forgotten that it even happened. There has been no rectification and absolutely no accountability. The only way that I see we the people taking back our country is a ground-up revolution. We must abandon the America First movement as well as both political parties. I am calling for the God First, Liberty Second movement to be born in the United States of America. This will take at least 8 to 12 years to accomplish. We must first take municipal seats, then county seats, then state seats, and then we will take back our federal government. If the spirit of patriotism burns within you, you are called to the work. For many are called, but few are chosen. We need those who otherwise never would have gotten involved in politics to step up and serve. What would your qualifications be? I can't say. But I can share what the Lord personally impressed upon me to qualify for me to participate in his work, and maybe it will guide you in seeking your calling. Number 1, you must keep yourself above reproach. If you have any vices, you must abandon them. Pornography, any sexual sin, any addiction, unrighteous anger, and pride were a few that were impressed upon me. The enemy of all freedom will use anything you do against you, so only do good. 2, you must prioritize your health and fitness. If you do not have a strong tabernacle to house your spirit, your emotions, and your mental health, you will struggle to overcome the attacks that surely will come. Number 3, you must trust in God with all your heart. There will be hard times ahead in this movement. If you do not have faith, you will not endure. Number 4, you must be willing to sacrifice everything. Your life may even be taken. Personally, I'm all in. I am currently running for mayor in the city of Eagle Mountain, Utah, where I reside. My primary election is taking place soon. If I
Now close your eyes. Go ahead. Close them. Yeah, good. Now take a step up. Now hold on to the railing and keep your eyes closed. No peeking.
Why not?
Very good. Now step onto the rail.
Very good. Very good. Very good. We are back. We are back. We don't have time to bleed because it's war. It is war. Thank you. You can turn that off. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody, to Late Night Update. I am still Dean Ryan, and it is war, as the title says. That's another example of another serviceman amongst the thousands, if not more, who are speaking out against what is happening to the military services and to the United States. We are being dragged into another war in the Middle East for Israel, by Israel, by hook or crook, as my grandfather used to say, and that makes sense more now than ever. Tonight's show is brought to you by you, the Real Deal Media members who make it all happen. You guys have been there through thick and thin and are the reason we're even able to broadcast here tonight. Through the incredible amounts of censorship, it's gut-wrenching, and these are depressing times for some. But I'll tell you this: through the hard times comes great inspiration and great creativity, and that's definitely what we want to showcase here with all of you. Rather than do the blame game, the "I told you so" game, we want to do the game of coming together, galvanizing, and finding solutions out of this rat race and saving lives. That's what it's all about here. And you can do that with us at realdealmedia.tv. Become a member, see what it's all about, make some new friends. We have a lot of people in these communities that have been friends for years, and just incredible relationships to see form. Going on 6 years now. It's going to be 6 years. Just dawned on me the anniversary of everything Real Deal Media. 6 years this coming March 19th. So yes, become a visionary with Debonair, and also help us bring back World at War. And you can do such a feat by going to givesendgo.com/World at War. That's givesendgo.com/World at War, because there's a war that is pending, and it is more than a virus. Yes, it is. Okay, let's get back to business here, as we have a few more things. We have a lot of people who are commenting. Let's say you out there, I think we have time to see how these things work here. We have Hammer Time, who says, I am hungry for some dim sum. Okay. Well, I'm glad that I guess, we all have our weaknesses. Mr. Hazmat, thank you very much. 6 years here with you. That's incredible. Yeah. And I'm 6 years here with you. It's mutual. It's just one of the greatest honors in my life to be here each and every night with all of you. I truly mean that. And, when I can do the job, when I'm able to do it, So thank you very much. Thank you very much for sticking with me. We have also, Frankie is in zombie mode. Yeah, there's the Night Owls last night, we went above and beyond till about 3, 4 in the morning on conference calls, watching this whole thing go down. Frankie, you're one of them. Yeah, film, TV biz, yes. So I'm feeling it too, but we don't got time to bleed, to quote Jesse Ventura there. Hammer Time, thank you very much. Here's another comment. It says, I've been here since the beginnings, started on Facebook. Yeah. Sadly, we can't be, I should say this more often because I'm in such a panic mode getting these shows up and running with my limited tech here for the time being. But yet we can't do live shows on Facebook anymore. They delete them after 30 days. There's no monetization that comes with that. That's how they get you, because they delete it null and void 30 days, and nobody gets notices anymore. And I'm not allowed to put my artwork on the shows, which are not even called shows or videos anymore. They're called reels. So they're trying to mimic TikTok over there at Meta. So it's a real sad state of affairs. All my archives on Facebook, all of the playlist deleted over the years, from the game shows we've done to the specials. I mean, just incredible moments. All the live chat replays from all those years, just like a yearbook. Poof, gone. Anyways, thank you for that. One more here. One more. And we have, yes, Lena Star Moon says, Dean, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so here is a final story here. This is something that I think is very, very relevant to, I think, the world stage here. And you might have heard of the phrase that the world is a stage, phrase that's often used a bit too much, but it is a very noteworthy phrase nonetheless. But let's talk about this now, because a lot of people have noticed, all of us already know these things, but most recently, Jim Carrey, a harsh opponent of the Trump organization and the Trump branding, everything Trump over the years, one of the biggest critics, who has gone awfully quiet. A lot of people said that he was one of the characters playing, or one of the actors rather, playing Joe Biden, along with Mr. Woods. Yeah, Mr. Woods. What's Woods' first name? I can't remember. Is it Ed? It'll come to me. Anyways, well, where's Jim been? He's come out of just the woodworks out of nowhere. Well, get this now. It's so much of a bizarre reappearance that he made recently at a red carpet that it even made the lamestream urine-soaked media. Let me tell you about it now. Is a controversy over Jim Carrey's Caesar Awards appearance. Fans insist it's not him. Well, I'm game for it's not him, because, like I said, we've seen multiple Trumps. I've seen queer Starmer over there in UK with the prosthetic on his neck. Don't get me started on the Sausage King of London, Charles. We know about that. Well, now they're saying Jim Carrey stepped back into the public eye after years of keeping a low profile, sparking a firestorm online. Ain't that for sure? The 64-year-old actor, can you believe that's 64 already? Known for his wild energy and all those movies that we came to love over the years, Ace Ventura, The Mask. Well, the French event called the version of the Oscars honored him at the Lifetime Achievement. Carrey, who's been semi-retired since around 2018. That's very interesting. That's when he might have been called to duty there. Well, social media exploded with wild theories, memes, and even heated discussions on whether it was even him or not. Well, here's the video. Why don't you take a look at it and you judge at home to determine whether this is Jim Carrey or just another lookalike, another fraud. We'll find out. Have a look.
You know, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy, but you know, it's then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead. And I made mistakes, and I was like,
he's dead. You hear that? He's dead. Bury my body, dead man. So I think he was giving it away there that the real guy could be dead. The new guy has clearly, was it blue or green eyes there? Jim Carrey has brown. Very interesting. Now here's a further expanded explanation of it all, that we really have been looking at clones, some might say. Even in the Epstein files, it's coming out that Britney Spears was cloned in 2011. Now, a lot of people might say, well, that means we're winning. Well, it also, I just want to, just to be the voice of some reason. A lot of these actors, a lot of the elites are living underneath. They're living in underground cities for what's to come in our lifetime here, whether it's a nuclear fallout, it's the new introduction of the reptilians that are coming, or the asteroids that they want to just completely rampage us with to meet the Deagle quota. Well, I think this is a great explanation of what we're enduring all around the world with the elites and leaders as we know them. Check this out.
So I see the possible Jeff Bezos replacement doing the rounds the other day. And so this is a little video about lifelike masks. Always check for the neck. Whenever I'm looking at masks, I always check for the neck, the eyes and the ears, because they're the telltale signs. That's where you're going to spot it, on the neck, the eyes and the ears. Now, I know some people out there don't want to hear it, but the fact of the matter is these people that are put up upon the world stage are actors in lifelike masks. Here's Dr. Fauci. Again, is it really Dr. Fauci, or is he just a fake character and an actor behind a mask? Here's former UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Just look at that neck. What's going on? What is going on with that neck? I will tell you what's going on. That is a lifelike prosthetic mask. Yes, they were doing this back in the 70s and 80s as well. Obviously, all the politicians and the high-level people on the world stage, the big-time influencers, just fake characters in masks. Sorry to tell you, but that's just what it is. Here is UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. You can see the outline of his mask by his ear there. And these masks are ultra thin, yeah. They put it in plain sight. They even put it in the newspapers for you. Here's an example of a lifelike mask. This is not what they're using for actor-based reality. This is what is available to the public right now. As you can see, though, they're still very good and very believable, but this is not what they're using for actor-based reality. Here is Hillary Clinton, the many actors that play Hillary Clinton. That's the thing. Sometimes when you see these people on the world stage, like Jeff Bezos, or I've seen one recently with Jim Carrey, where people say, oh, it's not the same person, they've been cloned, they just got a different actor playing that role, and that is what the anomaly is in their appearance. And here's one of the actors that's been suggested of playing the part of Jeff Bezos, Kevin Spacey. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'll leave it for you to decide.
Pretty wild stuff, isn't it? What do you think that's all about? Is that something that we're witnessing here stateside? Makes you think hard. We know Kamala definitely was totally in a prosthetic mask when she was still a viable person in power. What got me was the Bezos one. I never thought about Kevin Spacey taking part in such a operation. That one took me for a little loop there. What say you out there? Let me get one more comment here as we are broadcasting on Rumble and also YouTube here. Yes, John, I think you're absolutely speaking for the masses here. Yeah, that does not look like Jim Carrey at all. And notice how he emphasized dead. Should we watch that again? I'd like to see that one more time. Notice take note of what he's saying and how he's emphasizing dead. It's only about a 10-second clip, but it really, they're trying to communicate some of these cryptic truths to us in some sort of fashion here. Have one more gander at it.
You know, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy, but you know, it's then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead. And I made mistakes, and I was like,
yeah, that's definitely not him. That's definitely not him. Oh my God. That was creepy, actually. Wasn't that creepy? And you could tell it was a prosthetic for sure. We have Beverly Cloud. Thank you for being here, Miss Beverly there. She says the following: try pointing out anything to my family and husband. Forget about it. They don't want to hear it. You know, Beverly, my answer to that is we're not going to get the majority, but we have a strong minority, and that's what's important here. That's really truly what's important, because it was 3% during the 1775 to 76 era of the colonists that fought back against the British Empire. By the end of it, it was all the ways upwards of was it 7%? So that's what I have to say to that. Hazmat, yeah, Hillary, Bill, you got that's a bona fide instant death. Those people have been dead for so long. It's not even, I don't even know how to address them anymore. As you can see there. Okay. Yeah. Hillary's neck was that way Thursday night. Yeah, that woman is long gone. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're not arresting them. How do you arrest dead people? I guess the woman's dead. Oh my God. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna end it there. But I guess my final thought here, as we end this kind of impromptu late night update, which we could have more of these, as this war seems to be escalating with massive amounts of dynamics and very unorthodox kind of proxies and scheduling the way they are conducting this war. But war is long, and battles are instant. Battles are often lost, but battles are won too. And the battles that we're fighting are not necessarily in the Trump universe here. They're the battles of, having that conversation, as Beverly shared with us, with her family, because they may deny it at first, but you know what? You sparked a subject and an interest that they've never heard about before. And that sticks with somebody, and eventually, like a seed, it grows. And that's a battle won. And on that, to be a positive person in a way, because there's somebody who's been fighting a battle here at Real Deal Media for quite some time, and I want to give him a mention. And that's our very own member himself, our night owl, Mr. Watland, who's been fighting a cancer that he wasn't going to succumb to the pressures of doctors telling him how to fight and what to do and when to do it. And he fought it through his own manner, his own way, from taking the health and the sovereignty of his health back. And as of yesterday, I think I'm safe to say that he finally got his final CAT scan of everything. And we can now say that Mr. Watland is 100% officially cancer free. And he fought it the natural way, and it was his own way. So a big shout out to Mr. Watland, and a big congratulations to him out there. So that's a battle won, and I certainly applaud him. Okay, on that note, thank you everyone for being here tonight, Late Night Update. Hopefully this gives you some insight on what's happening in the world. I should be back Monday, but in case there's anything breaking that's urgent, I'll be on the airwaves as soon as I can, when I can. So for all of us here at the Real Deal Media's oldest franchise, Late Night Update, I'm Dean Ryan saying thank you for sharing a bit of this late night with me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until next time, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake. Good night, everybody.